Welcome to the G2 era!
EDG are your champions heading into Worlds 2016.
AHQ 世界大赛来了!
Samsung, the improbable, the impossible is happening. They are going to Worlds.
Vamos, Daqui do Mundial 2016!
Rocks Tigers taken, GG!
Splice have qualified for the 2016 World Championships!
And they are going to get a spot in Worlds again.
Hello and welcome to the 2016 World's Group Draw Show. I'm Rivington Bisson III along with Joshua Jat Leesman, and we are coming to you live from Riot Studios as we find out who will take on whom in the group stage at Worlds.
It is so exciting, Riv. In just a couple of minutes, the first stage of competition will be set as the 16 teams that qualified for the World Championship will be drawn from 3 pools into the 4 groups. So let's dive in and check out who your 2016 Worlds competitors are.
That's in Pool 1. From China's LPL, it's Edward Gaming, Flash Wolves of the LMS, Korea's Rocks Tigers, and North America's TSM.
In Pool 2, we have AHQ Esports Club from the LMS, Counterlogic Gaming from North America, G2 Esports and H2K Gaming from Europe, Team IME and Royal Never Give Up from the LPL, and finally Samsung Galaxy and SK Telecom T1 from Korea.
That's right. In Pool 3, we have Elbis Nox Luna from the Commonwealth of Independent States, North America's Cloud9, INTZ Esports from Brazil, and Europe's final representative, Splice. How does it all start?
It is going to start with the Rocks Tigers, so they will slot right into Group A. And I think it's rather fitting, probably the favorite heading into Worlds is the first one drawn out of the pool.
Absolutely. The Rocks Tigers are the LCK Summer Split champions and Korea's #1 seed at Worlds. This is their second World Championship appearance. The last time they competed was as the Ku Tigers, and they were runners-up to SKT. Their top laner Smeb was the LCK Spring and Summer Split MVP, and this is a team that was made up of players who at one point or another had either been benched by other teams or retired. But now they make up the #1 seed in the #1 region in the world.
All right, so this will be the Flash Wolves. They will go into Group B right next to the Rocks Tigers right there. And it's been quite a run for Flash Wolves, winning both the Spring and the Summer Split.
Not an uncommon place for them, however. Flash Wolves were the Spring and Summer Split champions of the LMS and the region's #1 seed. They did, however, earn that Pool 1 seed for the LMS by getting out of the group stage at the mid-season Invitational. This will be their second appearance at Worlds, but the third appearance for Maple, NL, and Sword Art as the Gamania Bears previously. In 2015, they advanced as the first seed in their group, which included Ku Tigers, and then they lost to Origin in the quarterfinals.
All right, the green shows EDG there, so the LPL will slot into Group C. Right after the Flashes have been drawn, they're at Worlds yet again.
EDG having one of the best runs ever in their head of the LPL.
16-0 in the LPL. They also have a very strong roster coming in. Clearlove, obviously the leader for these guys. This will be his 4th time attending at Worlds. Also the 3rd time the LPL has been sending EDG to Worlds right here. So they're looking very strong heading into this. Deft also considered maybe one of the best AD carries in the world. As was expected, TSM, the final team in Pool 1, will now go into Group D, and that will set the final team from Pool 1. They've been drawn.
TSM are the NALCS Summer Split champions and the #1 seed representing North America. They have attended every World's Championship to date and are the only professional League of Legends team to do so. Domestically, they just came off the back of a 17-1 split, which is one of the most successful in North American history. The mid laner Bjergsen has been the North American MVP for a record 3 times in a row now. Not in a row, but 3 times now. And it will be the first championship for their top laner Haunser and support rookie Biofrost.
Red means EU, and this is actually going to be G2. So this is the #1 team from Europe now getting drawn in with the Rocks Tigers into that Group A.
Looking very strong as of recent. G2 Esports won both the Spring and Summer Splits to become the undisputed champions of Europe and the region's #1 seed. This is their first appearance at Worlds, as it was also their first season in the ULCS. However, their performance at MSI resulted in a Pool 1 seed loss for Europe, and they will now be drawn from Pool 2 as seen. Their jungler Trick won Europe's MVP award in both spring and summer splits, and they have Zen and Mithi making their return into Worlds, where they made it into semifinals last year with Origin before losing to the Coup Tigers.
Okay, so this is SKT, the team no one wanted drawn into their group, but that means they will be in Group B along with the Flash Wolves.
That's right. SKT come into Worlds as Korea's second seed. They qualified on championship points after placing first in the spring and third in the summer. This will be their third Worlds appearance and the first time in Worlds history that they will see a defending champion. We will see a defending champion take to the stage. Every time they've attended Worlds, they have won, and they're the only team to hold more than one championship title. Faker and Bengi are the only two players that still remain from the World's 2013 and 15 winning rosters.
This will be AHQ, so the final team from the LMS that we have to draw. No problems here, so they will slot right under EDG, LPL, and LMS in Group C.
Yep, no problem putting them in there. AHQ qualified for Worlds as the second seed of the LMS after winning their regional qualifier with 3 O's over Hong Kong Esports and M17. This is their third appearance in a row at Worlds, the only team returning their entire starting roster from 2015 to now 2016 Worlds. In 2015, they advanced from their group over Cloud9, but then eventually lost to the champions of SKT in the quarterfinals.
All right, so because TSM is currently in Group D, that means COG will drop into the next available slot, and COG will actually be the third team now in Group A, along with Rox and G2.
That is right. Counterlogic Gaming claimed North America's second seed on championship points. They finished first in the spring and fourth in the summer, which was enough to get them to Worlds. This will be their fourth World Championship appearance. The last time they competed on the international stage was at the Mid-Season Invitational, where they finished second behind SKT. This will be the same roster that played at MSI to be attending Worlds, so they have that chance.
This pick, of course, will go into Group D, and TSM has drawn RNG now into that group, making it TSM and RNG, and yet to be seen, 2 more teams.
All right, so RNG will be fitting in under Team Solo Mid. RNG are LPL's second seed, qualifying on championship points after finishing first in the spring and second in the summer split. This is their first appearance at Worlds, and this is Uzi's third time at a World Championship. He's the only player to play in back-to-back World Finals, and he'll be doing it with 4 new teammates yet again. However, this time he also has 2 former World Champions on the roster, and Looper in mind.
So because there is already an LPL team in Group C and D, that means an LPL team must be in B, meaning H2K is bumped now to Group C, joining EDG and AHQ.
We see their placement in C. H2K comes into Worlds as Europe's second seed based on championship points after placing 4th in the spring and 3rd in the summer of the ULCS. This will be their second year attending Worlds, which means that every year since H2K was promoted to the LCS, they have represented Europe at Worlds. It will also be the first appearance of the much-hyped AD carry Forgiven, who subbed in for the team late in the summer to help with this very Worlds run.
All right, so we have Samsung pulled here because SKT already is in Group B. This means Samsung will go into Group D and join TSM and RNG.
Samsung earned Korea's 3rd seed by upsetting KT Rolster in the regional qualifier after losing their previous 19 games against KT Rolster. Samsung White won a world championship back in 2014, and now the organization is making another run with a completely different roster. This is the 4th team that Samsung has sent to Worlds, and their jungler Ambition has been a pro player for almost 6 years now. This will be his first attendance at a world championship.
Yes, and this means the final team from Pool 2 has been drawn. IMA from the LPL will go into the Group B with Flash Wolves and SKT.
That's right. IMA won the LPL regional qualifier to become the LPL's 3rd seed at Worlds. This will be their first appearance at a World Championship. They won the region's equivalent of Challenger in the LSPL in spring and then managed to make it to Worlds, much like Origin did last year. In the LSPL, they were known as Edward Esports. They were a B team to EDG, therefore many players here are former subs for EDG, including Amazing Jay, who played at Worlds last year for Edward Gaming.
So Skara has drawn Cloud9. There is already a North American team in Group A, so that means Cloud9 will join Group B with Flash Wolves, SKT, and IMA.
That is correct. This year, the second year in a row that Cloud9 made it to Worlds through the regional qualifier. They have represented North America at Worlds 4 years in a row now, but this will be Cloud9's first trip without High. However, Sneaky has been there all 4 times, which makes him tied for the most World appearances with EDG's Clear Love and TSM's Double Lift out of the players here at Worlds. It will also be the first World Championship top laner Impact has attended since he won back in 2013 with SKT. Elvis Nox Luna.
Absolutely. They will be joining Group A with the Rocks, Tigers, G2 Esports, and Counter Logic Gaming to complete that group.
Elvis Nox is a team representing the Commonwealth of Independent States who qualified for Worlds through the International Wildcard Qualifier. This is their first appearance at Worlds and the second appearance for the region overall. Up until recently, they were known as Hard Random and now have made the playoffs of an international wildcard event on 4 separate occasions. Their mid laner, Kira, single-handedly carried the CIS to the All-Star event in 2015 by winning the 1v1 tournament at the 2015 IWCI All-Stars.
All right, INTZ from Brazil will now be joining Group C, EDG, AHQ, H2K, and now INTZ.
INTZ from Brazil qualified for the World Championship via the International Wildcard Qualifier, but in front of their home crowd. This is the first appearance at Worlds and the third appearance for Brazil. They're no strangers to international wildcard events. They made playoffs at IWC on 3 separate occasions. Whenever their jungler Revolta has been on that stage, the INTZ lineup has made these IWC events. Now they get that chance to compete on the stage.
And Splice will be the final team to draw in here, joining TSM, RNG, Samsung in that Group D. That's a tough one.
It wasn't a question. They did make it. They were in there. Splice won the European regional qualifier to take Europe's 3rd seed to Worlds. This is their first appearance at Worlds, which is made all the more impressive when you consider that back in spring they had to play in the promotion tournament to avoid relegation. Since then, they did a complete 180 to make it all the way to the European LCS Summer Finals, where they came up just short to G2 Esports. Incredibly impressive turnaround considering the only change to the roster was bringing on rookie support Mickey X.
And it's been a constant uphill battle for Splice, and they've been constantly improving, and Worlds is just the next step. So they're placed into Group D. Obviously, as a Pool 3 team, they know they have a challenge ahead of them, but talking to them, they're ready for it.
I can't wait to see what we have to say about these. Now that the 16 teams have been drawn, let's take a look at the groups themselves. In Group A, we have Korea's Rocks Tigers from Pool 1, Europe's G2 Esports and North America's Counter Logic Gaming from Pool 2, and Elvis Nox Luna from Pool 3.
Yeah, very interesting group so far. In Group B, we have the Flash Wolves from Pool 1, Korea's SKT and the LPL's IMA from Pool 2, and North America's Cloud9 from Pool 3.
That's right, and in Group C, it's the LPL's EDG from Pool 1, AHQ's Esports Club, and H2 Gaming from Pool 2, and INTZ Esports from Pool 3.
That is definitely the group INTZ was happy to be drawn into. Finally, in Group D, we have North America's TSM, Royal Never Give Up, and Samsung Galaxy from Pool 2, and then Splice was drawn in to round out the group.
That's right. You can catch all these teams in action when the group stages kick off in San Francisco on the 29th of September, with the opening match happening at 4 p.m. Pacific time.
Tickets are also still available for the group stages, and you can find them at lolesports.com for those interested.